on a truck, we can have a lot of data, a lot of information that every second, every kilometer is gathered in a huge database. With old trucks, we didn't have that chance, but with the new ones, we can have such a load of information, and if that information is gathered and managed and studied, analyzed, we can transform this into excellent benefits to our customers, to our customers' customers, and to the society. When a truck drives, we can have information not only about the speed of the driver pattern, how safe the driving is. We can also have a lot of information coming from the components that allow us to have a predictive action to safeguard the availability of the truck. So we can know well in advance if there's a component that needs to be replaced or repaired. From the distance, we can even know the usage of each brake of the truck, how much the brake is used or not. That can be also collected from remote data. Just in Italy, we have over 20,000 Scanias that we are collecting this information every minute as we speak. Worldwide, this number is much bigger, and that allows us in our headquarters in Sodertele to have a huge valuable database that is used in many ways. It's used in developing new vehicles. This collecting of data is not only for trucks, but it's also for buses, and it's also for our industrial and marine engines that are connected around the world. So this provides important information for the development of new products. It provides important information on improving the current platform, also to have insights of how much the trucks are performing, the buses are performing, and so on. In particular, we have a product which is one of my favorite Scania products, that is the Fleet Care. The Fleet Care is a high developed service where in our headquarters in Italy, in Trento, we have a group of professionals that follow up from distance over 1,500 vehicles in Italy, including buses and trucks. What do? They plan the maintenance. They avoid as much as possible that we have a breakdown. When you are a transport company, even more important, if you are a people transport company, if you have a bus company, every breakdown means a huge cost, not only of money, but of time, image, and so on. So with a product like Fleet Care, those transport companies that have very high demands, they can hire Scania to make the maintenance planning, and this maintenance planning is a huge added value for these companies. The maintenance planning is done directly with the workshops. Thanks to the geolocation, our team is in capability of making the planification in the nearest workshop that vehicle will be when that maintenance will come. That saves a lot of money and a lot of time to the transport companies. Talking about this service, is also very important to comment that goes together with our Scania assistance and also goes together with our insurance, our casco. We have a single point of contact, and also this database helps us to offer the best casco solution for each type of transport. Another feature that is much appreciated by logistic companies is the geofencing. The geofencing allows to make an alarm if a vehicle leaves a given area or if there's a different route. That's also another feature that's available today. I remember when I started working in Scania back in '97, we had newer trucks than this. But in Scania systems in Brazil at that time, when you had a truck broken in the middle of the road, they had first to find a phone to make a call with the coins. And then the driver would try to explain the problem of the truck. And even worse, the driver would try to explain where he or she was. So usually the conversation went, yes, I am in this road number, and after the yellow house before the bridge, I'm stopped here. Today, we have a much modern situation 30 days after, 25 days after. So thanks to the geopositioning, we know precisely where the vehicle is. And thanks to the remote diagnosis, we have a very accurate idea of what the problem of the vehicle is. And that allows that the repair team that should meet the broken Scania can come with the tools, with the parts, and with the precise information that is needed. That saves also a lot of time. Today's truck is much more autonomous than yesterday's truck. Today, when a driver sits on a Scania Super, he can command the average speed. He has the emergency braking. He or she doesn't need to do the gear shifting. We have the safe distance and even the curves are assisted. So I would say that today, these trucks are much more autonomous than anyone could imagine in the past. But we also have autonomous trucks. Scania has been working with autonomous technology for almost a decade now. We have prototypes working since 2017-18, especially in the mining segment. The mining segment we see as the first of this option for the autonomous. Usually mining is in complex environments. Sometimes it's far from cities. We have so many underground mining operations. So we have with Rio Tinto a joint venture, work together to develop our mining solutions. And this has been very successful, I would say. We also have a cooperation with Havi here in Europe, and also in Sweden. Scania since 22 is using autonomous trucks. It's a truck like this with a group of devices on the roof and that assist the driving. And we are doing transport in Swedish public highways. That is done in areas where the analysis, the assessment was done before regarding safety, regarding risk, regarding number of vehicles around and the absence of pedestrians, just to give an example. Also, I had the fortune to ride on a bus, a public bus in Sweden, a Scania one, of course, that it was autonomous. And it was before COVID in Södertälje. And I remember that we had the driver seated on the driver's seat because of a normative. So it was mandatory to have the driver, as it is today, usually. We have a legal issue that is challenging for suppliers of autonomous vehicles. So I see that the driver will be needed in the future. One question that usually is done to me, do you think drivers will disappear? And my answer is no. I don't think drivers will disappear, at least in the next decades. Drivers may disappear maybe much longer term, but today we need drivers because they are also the representative of the company. When they arrive, they are the person in charge of supervising the charging and discharging of the vehicle. They are the responsible also to manage the unit. I don't see in the short term vehicles going without driving on roads, but maybe in the long term, of course, everything is possible.